So you thought this channel was over? Surprise bitch, I'm back. Long time no see. How are my K-pop hoedowns doing? I'm back from my break from K-pop. Yes, when I said I was going to take a break I meant it. I haven't checked headlines. So I guess now I'm the one catching up on the latest K-pop tea. But last night I decided to start with the awards show performances. And sis, you already know I had to come out of hiatus to drag these stages. And Mnet's poor choice of microphone supplier, Shady Kermyyy, is back in 3, 2, 1. Now we all know Mamamoo have some of the best live vocals in the business, but I was most certainly struggling to hear them this time. Hwasa decided halfway through a hip that she wanted to sing, then said no thanks, and went back to lip syncing. I found it quite embarrassing to watch Mamamoo sing with JYP and lip sync with the playback turned up to 10 and the mics turned down to 1. Meanwhile JYP was standing right there, singing full live. You could hear his full live vocal, with zero playback. If JYP can do that, at his age, and as a practically retired singer, it makes it all the more embarrassing to stand next to him and lip sync, especially when you have the talent to sing without playback. It's just lazy technique, and I'm not here for it. Thank you. Next. It was just so odd to hear Solar sing live for a few seconds just to go back to lip syncing. Almost as if they've been told by Mnet not to sing live. What exactly is going on here? ATEEZ brought a lot of energy to the stage. They really filled the stage with what little they had been given. I was impressed. Vocally I only think 2 or 3 members' microphones were actually on, and I don't know who this member is, but he needs to adjust his vocal technique or he'll end up damaging his voice. If you know vocals you can hear the tension. His larynx is so high, it's almost uncomfortable to listen to. It's hitting the notes, but only just. There's so much tension in his jaw. You can both hear and visibly see it, and I don't know a vocal coach on earth who would teach you to sing like that. He should be careful, because over time poor technique like this will actually cause your voice to deteriorate. Still, kudos for being one of the few idols bold enough to deliver a raw live vocal. Schoolgirl, varsity jackets, plaid. Sis, it's been done a million billion times, and that dubstep breakdown, groundbreaking. I wasn't aware it was 2012. And why wasn't there a seamless transition between the Dalla Dalla and the IC stage? This is a Mama stage. Where's your production value gone? I'm sorry, I'm going to go hard and pick on ITZY because they're always talking about how different they are. There was absolutely nothing different about this performance. This performance could have been a moment for ITZY, but it ended up being a bathroom break. I feel like JYP did the bare minimum with the hair and makeup too. He gave himself a better stage than he gave ITZY. The nerve. ITZY is the future, sir. You are not. LMAO. I actually really like this group, so I'm being hypercritical. But then again, when is this frog ever not hypercritical? And once again, were the mics even on? I think they were. Yes. Good. Have to check, because all this playback really out here saving your faves' lives. The vocals were so much clearer to hear on the Melon Award stage. Not sure what was happening within Mnet's sound team. I'm too disappointed to even talk about this performance anymore. I will just watch their Melon stage instead. Next case. Come through TXT, lip syncing for your life. But I don't care because they slayed the dance sequences and commanded the stage. Some of these rookies are out dancing K-pop veterans this year. This did seem like a downgrade from the Melon performance though. And please no tired comments trying to say your fave wasn't lip syncing. If the playback is turned so ridiculously high that you can't hear the raw vocal at all, so much that it's indistinguishable, then what's the point of even trying? Nobody can even hear it. I was so happy to hear some switched on microphones in this performance. The vocal line showed up and showed out. But my gosh, Woozi was lip syncing for his life and it was very entertaining to watch. I wasn't a fan of the outfits. I always find 17's fashion a bit matchy. Very 90s boy band. Pledis stylist. Let's bring it more into the 21st century. But I understand it can be hard to dress a 13-member group and give everyone their own color. By the time they started doing it was no longer about singing, it was about hyping up the crowd. They did an amazing job. That's what this frog is talking about. If you're not gonna sing, at least play to the crowd and create some hype. The people want to hear you, not the CD. The little shouts and hollers make a big difference to a viewing audience. One thing I will say is that they didn't look as in sync as usual. Maybe it's down to the leader being absent. Get well soon scoops. Monsta X, that entrance had me shook. Thank you. Now this is an award show, because, with some of these performances, I literally forgot I was watching Mama's stages. If you've been watching Mama performances for years, you might have noticed the production value took a dip this year. But Monsta X definitely brought some production value and some desperately needed energy, and with the microphones on. Thank you Starship for coming through with the budget. They came through for that dance intro they played to the crowd, and they actually sang louder than the playback, the way it should be. Vocally Shonu had a voice crack in the pre-chorus. That was a shame, but it happens to the best of them. At this point I'm so glad people are singing live. I don't even care about a voice crack. In fact, it makes me respect them 10 times more. And their main vocal Kihan was a powerhouse with those belts. Good breath control. Hit all his dance cues. Serving a raw live vocal. That is textbook K-pop star. That is putting the years of training to good use. It's idols like that that disprove the myth that you can't sing and dance without lip sync. It most certainly can be done. And that's what the numerous years of training are supposed to be for. Minor sharp or flat note errors are allowed when you're projecting so much energy, confidence and creating a moment. So I am not gonna mark them down for that. Whispering behind playback with no errors wouldn't make the performance better. It would just make it more flat and two-dimensional. For those reasons this performance was actually one of the best of the night for me. Congratulations Monsta X. I like the long coats. It gave me Matrix vibes and so did the acrobatics. They didn't feel like singing, but their choreography was one of the most memorable of the night. As rookies, they used a lesser amount of airtime to make as much impact as possible. I was impressed. Come through RBW. This is a performance review, but the stylist missed the mark on her red carpet look. Pick one cohesive look. Don't stitch two together. That's so Balenciaga of you. It just wasn't working for me. As for the performance, it's Chungha, so obviously my expectations were sky high. I love the moody start and the clock theme. When she felt like singing she sounded great, on pitch and good breath control. It's just a shame she only felt like singing once every 15 seconds. However, you have to be slightly more lenient on soloists. Groups get to share the burden. Soloists don't. She brought the sex appeal. It would have been nice if she played to the crowd a bit more. This isn't M Countdown. This is the Mama's stage. Her stage for Melon was a lot better. It had higher production value, not to mention a microphone that was all the way on. Her vocals sounded great on the Melon stage and the performance told more of a story. Maybe companies finally caught on to the fact the Mamas are losing credibility and starting to give their better stages to the MMAs. Great intro. Choreo on point. Mics were off. Ten and Lucas's charisma and stage presence leapt through the camera. They heavily overshadow the other members. Most of them are relatively new faces. But what's Winwin's excuse? Chin up Winwin. Your day will come. LOL, I'll try not to be biased because GOT7's You Calling My Name is one of my top K-pop songs of 2019. It's such a shame the Korean charts don't agree. Come through Yu-Gi-Um with the complex choreo whilst serving live vocals. With no playback. Putting those years of stamina training to good use. Same for JB. I know people have criticized his live vocal delivery in the past, but he was trying and pushing out the notes whilst playing to the crowd. And that's what counts. The chair sequence reminded me of their second gen senior group 2PM. And those jackets? Yeah, it's you should be mad. Because you definitely got the least wardrobe budget out of the bunch. Young Jay slayed vocally. Come through. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he gave one of the best live vocals of Mama 2019. Great stamina, pitch and breath control. On the other hand, I'm a fan, but I just couldn't take Jackson seriously in this performance. He was lip syncing for his life. Until the end, that is. A rap is supposed to get the crowd hyped, but when you lip sync a rap it just falls so flat. So it was a little awkward to watch for me. And Mark, Earth to Mark, is anybody there? Is your microphone on? Mnet, I repeat, is Mark's microphone on? What is going on with the damn microphones this year? I loved the R&B rework of Feel Special. The staging with the umbrellas was simple yet effective. You don't have to do a lot to be theatrical. Sometimes less is more. But I don't understand why there's such ambiguity over whether they are singing live They were standing still, so there's no excuse, right? Some members it was clear, but for others it was more ambiguous. John Young served live vocals and I was here for it. She is silently one of the vocal pillars of this group. Chewie had a little voice crack in Fancy, but I was glad because it proved she was singing live. They look great. Gold on gold. And I just love how much Twice have stepped up their choreography this year. I used to side-eye JYP for not incorporating enough dance difficulty, but now Twice are rising to the challenge and putting those years of dance training to great use. And the glitter was such a nice simple touch. Like I said, less can be more. But am I the only one who thought Na Yeon was annoyed starting Fancy? They threw that glitter right in her hair and face. She was not at all impressed. What I will say though, when it comes to live performances at these award shows, is that it's interesting to see the members who have their mics turned up, and I mean all the way up, singing full throatily and belting over the playback, and the members who decide to whisper behind it with their mics turned all the way down, so you don't hear any mistakes. Maybe it's to protect them from embarrassing cracks or pitch problems. It can happen to the best singers, so I don't see the point. I'll never get tired of seeing an idol belting over the playback, then, mid-lyric, changing their mind and lip syncing the rest. It's like I think I can. No wait, sorry sis, don't feel like risking it all. Not today. Changed my mind. Lip sync it is. That will never not be funny to me. Sometimes you can even catch the micro expressions in their face deciding whether to go for a challenging note or whether they'll lip sync it. It's very interesting to me. I'm sure they have their reasons and I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. Just don't use a tired, they're sick excuse. The amount of times people use that excuse on your fave, you'd think idols are sick every day of every year. I just can't. XYZ idol is sick has become the go-to excuse equivalent to the dog ate my homework. Bish bye. Just bye. Do we even need to discuss BTS? It was an amazing performance, period. And microphones were fully on. Sometimes I catch myself forgetting just how talented BTS are when it comes to live performance. I still can't get over Jimin's acrobatic stunts, doing all that and still serving live vocals when some of your faves were really out here lip syncing like their life depended on it. I'm done. Talk about being outclassed. When they started performing their old material, I was here for it. I got my life, because that's the rap focused BTS I know and admire. It's much more my vibe than the commercially pop driven material they've been doing lately. The top 40 sounding pop songs featuring Halsey and the Chainsmokers just aren't my cup of tea. And when it comes to Halsey and the Chainsmokers, it's very simple. I don't know her, and if armies get annoyed at me for saying that, I couldn't care less. That's my truth. I don't wholeheartedly support everything your faves put out, and neither do you. We playlist the songs that we like, and we ignore the ones that we don't. That's our power and our right as the consumers, and that's the real tea. So deal with it. Sorry, just that to get that off my chest. Bonus. I thought we were only going to discuss K-pop, but it has to be said, Dua Lipa showed up a lot of your faves that night when it came to live vocals. She serviced raw live vocals with next to zero playback and a few hired backing vocalists. Her mic was on and her live vocals were crystal clear for all to hear, with perfect pitch from start to finish. I was impressed. Whatever was affecting the mama microphones that night certainly wasn't affecting hers. Obviously she can't compete with K-pop idols when it comes to choreography, but can you even name 5 British pop acts who are great at dancing? It's not really their thing. So good luck with the UK pop thing, Simon. Sis, what can I say? Overall, I'm thoroughly disappointed by the majority of these performances. The Mamas used to be the performance event of the year, with incredible creative stages and acts singing live. This year's show proved just how far they have fallen. Between amount of tired struggle vocals, lip syncing and playback turned up so unbelievably high, it became a very frustrating experience watching these performances and trying to hear the truth. The truth is the only thing this frog is interested in hearing. I know these thoughts are late, but I didn't see the point of leaving them collecting dust on the shelf like a neglected trainee. So here they are. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite performance in Mama history, and what you think the future of the Mamas will be going forward. I'm going to be getting back into my groove and posting more teas soon. Until then, it's ciao for now.